everyone, it's Book Obsessed Becky here. I'm coming at you with a book haul. This is kind of a big book haul for me. It is books that I've gotten from November until the start of December. So there are Book of the Month books in here, there are books from Christmas in here, and there are book shopping type books in here. I do have a used book haul coming up at some point that I'd collected over the summer that I just never got around to posting. But for right now, it is new books. Okay, so I'm going to try to be quick about it because my dog is sitting next to me and that never goes well. And my son is out at a half a day today, so I have to be at his school at 11:15 and it takes me at least 20 minutes to get there. So I've got to try to be quick. All right, the first book on the pile is Confessions of a 40-something F-up. It's supposed to be the Bridget Jones, the new Bridget Jones of our time, says the Telegraph. All right, I'm going to read the back of the book because it just makes more sense with this one. It says, meet Nell. Her life is a mess. When her business goes bust and her fiance with it, Nell's happily ever after in California falls apart. And she moves back to London to start over. But a lot has changed since she's been gone. All her single friends are now married with children. A sky-high real estate market forces her to rent a room in a stranger's house, and everyone has seemingly perfect Instagram-ready lives. Starting from scratch makes her feel like an F-up. A 40-something F-up. Landing a job writing obituaries, Nell meets the fabulous Cricket, an 80-something widow, with challenges of her own. Together they begin to help each other heal their aching hearts, cope with the loss of the lives they had planned, and push each other into new adventures and joy. With Cricket's help, Nell is determined to turn her life around. First, though, she has a confession. Laugh out loud, funny, and painfully relatable, Confessions of a 40-something F-up is a celebration of friendship and a reminder that while life doesn't always go according to plan, it doesn't mean you can't find happiness. I love this cover. It's bright, and I'm not usually like huge bright colors kind of person, but I think this book sounds really fun. The next one I have on the list is 500 Miles from You. And this one is from Jenny Colgan, and every book I've read by her, I love. So, again, I'm going to read the back of this one just because it makes, it'll be easier for me to do that. But I think it sounds really good. It says, what will happen when a guy from a rural Scottish village and a girl from the bustle of urban London switch jobs and discover each other? Well, I guess I could just leave it at that, couldn't I? But I won't. So Liz is a nurse in a gritty, hectic London neighborhood, usually terribly good at keeping it all together. She's recently been suffering quietly with PTSD after witnessing a violent crime. Her supervisor arranges for Alyssa to spend a few months doing a much less demanding job in a little town in the Scottish Highlands, hoping that the change of scenery will help her heal. Alyssa will be switching places with Cormac, an army veteran and easygoing nurse, paramedic, and all-purpose medical man. Alyssa never experienced small-town life, and Cormac's never spent more than a day in a big city, but it seems like a swap will do them both some good. In London, the gentle Cormac is a fish out of water. In the Highlands, the dynamic Alyssa finds it hard to adjust to the quiet, but these two strangers are now in constant contact, taking over each other's patients, endlessly emailing about anything and everything. Alyssa and Cormac discover a new depth of feeling for their profession and for each other. But what will happen when they meet? Okay, so I do love a good romance story, but I love romance that has more to it than just the romance, if that makes sense. So I'm pumped for that one. Here comes another romance one. I've heard a lot about this one, and I've also heard it's a closed-door romance, which I'm really excited about, and that is When in Rome. So this is supposedly a rom-com where opposites attract with a small-town baker and a pop sensation. I think it's also like a grumpy sunshine kind of a trope. And yeah, that's all I really need to know. I'm excited to get to that one as well. This one I've talked about in a previous video, I think, and I loved it. I've already read it. It's called The Book Club Hotel. And basically, it is Erica, Claudia, and Anna, however you want to say it. Lifelong friends who seem to have it all together, checking for a girls' book club holiday. And they do this normally during the summer months, but this year they had to do it in the winter time. It ends up changing everything for them. Their close friendship and shared love of books have carried them through life's ups and downs, but Hattie can see they're also packing some major emotional baggage, and nothing prepares her for how deeply her own story is about to become entwined with theirs. In the span of a week, over the most enchanting time of the year, can these 4 women come together to improve each other's lives and make this the start of a whole new chapter. So Hattie is the one that owns the bed and breakfast. It's in Vermont, rural Vermont. She's a widow. She is a mom to a small child. She's originally from the UK, so she moved to the US with her husband, who passed away not long after they bought the B&B. Then you've got Erica, who is a businesswoman. She's rich. She travels the world. Her mother recently passed away. She's never known her father. And she has no interest in having a partner or plants or even an animal because she just doesn't want to be attached to anything. And then you've got Claudia, who moved across the country with her boyfriend. She is a chef. They moved to California. She's a chef, and he dumped her for a woman that is in her 20s. Mind you, Hattie is in her late 20s. Erica, Claudia, and Anna are in their late 30s or 40. So back to Claudia. So her boyfriend dumps her. She's left in this apartment that she can't really afford on her own. And then she ends up losing her job as a chef. She loses it due to cutbacks, not because of her skill or anything like that. And she's really struggling with the idea of, do I really love cooking anymore? And obviously I'm not enough because I've been dumped and I lost my job. So there's that whole part of Claudia that we're learning about. And then there's Anna, who is married. She has 2 children. They're twins, and they are getting ready to head off to college soon. She's always been a stay-at-home mom and wife. If you hear the sighing, that's because my dog's sitting beside me. She's always been a stay-at-home mom and wife. She loves her job, and she's terrified of what's going to happen to her when her kids move out. She's not terrified about being with her husband because she's still madly in love with him. She is terrified about the idea of not having her job anymore. So she's really struggling with that. And yeah, you're following these 4 women, and I love the story. Yes, it is based around a holiday, but you could really read this in the winter time or really any time because it's not just a Christmas book. There's so much more going on before you even get to the Christmassy, and that's really at the end of the book. So yeah, a great story. I loved it. Gave me all the cozy vibes, and the cover is fantastic. So this book, you can see from the cover that I got a deal on it. It is by the book. This book cost me $4.97. What a score at Books A Million. So I'm pumped. All right, so it says that it is a reimagining of Beauty and the Beast. Izzy is being overworked and underpaid. She's an employee at a publishing agency, and Beau, I think that's how you say his name, is being the beastly author who hasn't delivered his manuscript yet, and the publishing company really needs his manuscript. So Izzy sets off to his mansion to get him writing again, and what she discovers is that he is just as lost as she is in life, and they soon discover they have more in common than they thought. I am excited for it. It says at the bottom that this best-selling author has written an achingly romantic reimagining of a classic. It's a tale as old as time for a new generation. So I'm going to confess right now, I am obsessed with Beauty and the Beast. I absolutely love that movie. I love it in cartoon. I love it with, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. She plays Hermione in Harry Potter. Is it Emma Watson? I don't know. I can't remember, but I love that version as well. So I'm stoked to get to this book. Okay, so now we're coming up on my Book of the Month books, and they're not in order of when I got them because I don't know. I just didn't put them in order. But the first one is The Frozen River This takes place in Maine, I believe. It says it's a historical mystery inspired by the life and diary of Martha Ballard, a renowned 18th century midwife who defined the legal system and wrote herself into American history. It also, like online, I looked up for like a quick blurb. It says a Maine midwife proves herself a tenacious advocate for justice when a local man with a few secrets is put on trial. Yeah, I'm stoked about this. I saw that Ann Bogel read it or is going to read it, and I love Ann Bogel and her podcast. I think it's called like What Should I Read Next or something. Anyways, she was reading it or is going to read it, so that's all I need to know. And it's about a Maine midwife. So that's a score too. The next one is the last love note. And it says here on the inside flap, 2 years after losing her husband, Cameron, Kate is a bit of a mess. Lurching from one comedic crisis to the next, she does her best to navigate work, friendships, and parenting a 5-year-old without Cam's support. When a flight diversion on a business trip unexpectedly leaves her stranded in a beach town in Australia, Kate finally has a chance to process her grief. Can she let go of the love of her life and risk her heart a second time? The last love note will make readers laugh, cry, and renew their faith in the resilience of a human heart. Of the human heart. Recognizing that while you may never stop loving the one you lost, you can always find love again. So yeah, it's going to be a love story, I think. But again, there's so much more than just the love story in here, which is what I'm here for. Okay. This one was my pick for December. I do remember that. And it is A Winter in New York. I always pick their like Christmassy book, but I didn't get around to reading this one. I started it and then I stopped because there was so many other things I wanted to read, and it didn't jump right into like Christmas. It doesn't start in Christmas. I can't remember if it started like in the summer or the fall, but it wasn't in the winter season, so I put it aside. And it says, a delicious rom-com has all the right ingredients, secret family recipes, and holiday vibes, and a big pinch of love. So over the years, I've loved the Christmas books that they've put out, so I'm sure I'm going to love this one. I'm hoping to still read it over the winter, because where I am on the East Coast, it's snowing today, and we've been in the negatives, and we are still very much in winter here. So when I'm watching people on there showing like flowers and things like that coming up in their yards, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, my yard's covered in snow and ice. Whatever. Okay. No jealousy here. I love the winter months and I love the coziness and all of that. I love getting snow. So I'm cool with it. Mercury is one of the other books I had gotten. Seriously, this one's from January. Like, I have been hoarding the Book of the Month books apparently. This one is brimming with family drama and small town secrets, a touching ode to a struggling but resilient blue-collar America. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. The little blurb at the top says, a roofing family's bond of loyalty are tested when they uncover a long hidden secret at the heart of their blue-collar town. Okay, sounds good to me. The next one, and this is the last Book of the Month book I got. It was February's pick, and it is Kristin Has the Women. So, a quick little blurb about this one is, the women at once, an intimate portrait of a coming of age in a dangerous time and an epic tale of a nation divided. The Women is a story of one woman gone to war, but it shines a light on all women who put themselves in harm's way and whose sacrifice and commitment to their country has too often been forgotten. A novel about deep friendships and bold patriotism, The Women is a richly drawn story with a memorable heroine whose idealism and courage under fire will come to define an era. So, this book takes place during the Vietnam conflict. I know it's conflict, but I call it a war. My dad was in Vietnam, so I'm super interested in this book for that reason, because I see what it did to him as a man, so I can just imagine what it must have done to the women there as well. Very excited about this. Okay. So these two books right here, these two chunkers, like these ones, the ones that could kill somebody if they got hit with them because they're so fat, I totally freaking scored a deal on these. So I'm going to talk about the first one that I found in the bookstore. And I had gotten it for $10. And normally it's $35 in the US. And that is A Day of Fallen Night. I've never read anything by this author, but I've seen it go through BookTube. I'm getting into epic fantasy, and it was $10, like, score. So it says, quick little blurb I found on the internet. A story that interweaves the stories of 3 women from 3 wildly different fantastical cultures, yet they are united through their devotion to their loved ones and quests to hunt down the demonic worms which threaten their world. Yes, please, a story about women? Yeah, I'm here for it. And the cover's kind of great. Okay, the next one is Hello. It's going to be the next in the thing, and it's the Priory of the Orange Tree. I think this one is the prequel to this one. So I didn't get a $10 steal on this one. I think this one cost me $20 because it's a soft cover, but still, I got both of these books for $30 when this one cost $35 to start with. So, I mean, to me, that's an awesome deal. Okay, it says, an epic fantasy set in a world divided by ancient rivalries. The story follows the lives of several compelling characters as they navigate political intrigue, mythical creatures, and a battle for power that could reshape their world forever. I don't know anything about this book other than what I just read to you, and that it's ginormous, like its little friend right here that I just mentioned. Seriously. Weapons. Either way, I'm stoked, and I love getting buried in a big book. The only problem with reading a big book is then I can't read as much throughout the month, but still, it's nice to spend time, like a good amount of time with certain characters, providing they're not creeps. Well, even if they are creeps, maybe they have a great story. Who knows? But I love a chunky book, so I'm stoked for that. Okay, the last 2 books I have here, I received for Christmas, and I love this author. 100% love this author. I've loved everything that she's written. And, sorry, that was a tag on the back of the book because I have little notes written on the back just to kind of help me out so I don't stumble as much. But the first one is Inheritance, and I swear I've talked about this book so many times in the videos that I've done recently, but it's worth it. It's fantastic. So a quick little blurb is, a woman inherits a gothic home in Maine. And that is what the home looks like. See, I put little notes and things so I don't forget. Anyways, it's a gothic home. There's a curse that has caused 7 brides on their wedding day to be murdered, and their wedding rings disappear. There are ghosts in this house. There is an evil witch in this house. It is in a small town. There is romance. There's tons of mystery. It ends on a huge cliffhanger because I've already read it, and I can't wait for the next book in the series because I freaking loved it so much. So if you love mystery, if you love romance, if you love ghosts, if you love witches and curses and all of the good things, maybe a little bit of fantasy situation going on, then definitely give this one a go. And the cover is so beautiful. Okay. Next. Can you tell I'm excited about these books? And I'm trying to hurry because my dog is doing such a good job, and I just have one last book. The next one is Identity. And yeah, it's another Nora Roberts. My husband knows I absolutely love her, and pretty much anything she writes I buy. But this time I behaved myself and he bought them for Christmas for me. So this one is, Morgan Albright moves home to Vermont, determined to get her life back after a con man steals her identity, her nest egg, and kills her roommate. She was the one to get away and broke his streak. Now he is determined to find her and make her pay. Apparently, Morgan finds out that her roommate wasn't the one that was supposed to die because this killer has like a profile of the type of person that he likes to kill, and the roommate doesn't match that profile. She does. she just happened to not be there, I guess, that night or something. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. But her poor roommate was, and her roommate ended up dead. So yeah, I'm stoked for this one. Really, I'm stoked for all the books in this huge pile. I don't know when I'll get to them all. Doesn't matter. I own them, which is like exciting. I mean, if you're a book hoarder like I am, you know what I'm saying. And yeah, let me know. Have you read any of these books right here? If you have, which ones have you read? Have you loved them? Is there any I should prioritize first? Okay, I should probably get going because it is getting late and I'm going to have to get heading out the door soon to get my kid. But thank you so much for your time, for your patience as I sped through this. And yeah, I hope you're all staying cozy if you're in the cold and cool if you're in the hot. And I hope you're reading lots of books. And until next time, happy reading, everybody. Bye.